I'm Colonel J.D. Clem from Headquarters AFSOC down at Hurlburt Field, Florida, and I'm the Deputy Director of Plans and Programs. Sure, the 73rd Special Operations Squadron is what we call an MC-130W squadron, and they're going to have a mission of low-level flight and helicopter air refueling.
And when you say low-level flight, could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. What they'll do is they'll fly with their equipment on board at about 500 feet off the ground along some of the low-level routes that have been used out here for many years.
And how many airmen are in the squadron?
The squadron will grow to about 150 airmen, I think, and then there's about 330 some maintenance guys that are with it as well. So two different units, the ops and the maintenance.
And how many aircraft will they be bringing?
They're growing to a size of 12 airplanes, so by the end of 2009 I believe we'll have 12 airplanes. Initially, I think it's 3 or 4.
And how many airmen are needed to operate an MC-130W?
I think the crew size is 7, but I'm not positive. It might be 8.
Inside the aircraft?
Yes.
And then obviously maintainers to maintain the aircraft?
Yeah, and the maintainers, most of the special operations airplanes are large and fairly complex. So we have a lot of maintainers per airplane, hence the difference between 140, 150 guys and 330 maintainers.
Okay. The people of Cannon are used to seeing the sleek F-16s roaring over the area. Describe what they can expect to see with the MC-130W.
Well, the MC-130W is a 4-engine propeller transport. The C-130 is a venerable plane. The Air Force has been flying it since the early 60s. And we've just modified it so that it does helicopter air refueling and it does low-level flight and some airdrops. We do a lot of our flying at night, so unless the people are out at night or in the latter part of the day, they won't see it. And I don't think the noise is anywhere near what an F-16 is. So I think more along the lines of the sounds of a train, just maybe going a little bit slower.
And what is the major mission associated with the aircraft and the squadron?
The major mission of the aircraft is infiltration, exfiltration, resupply, and refueling of helicopters and CV-22s.
And when will the AFSOC airmen begin arriving at Cannon?
We have a small detachment here now, and we will bring some more out in the November-December timeframe. So on 1 October we take over the base, but because we just finally finished up the environmental impact statement signing, we can just now put people on orders to come. We won't have a large mass of people that will come in the gate on the 1st of October. It takes them a couple months that orders process and move process, so we'll start to see them around Christmas time.
Oh, wonderful. And you said a small detachment is here now. Are they here temporarily, or will they be remaining here?
No, we've had the small detachment of Headquarters AFSOC headed by Lieutenant Colonel Toby Corey, who may have been in the local news here before, my guess is. And he's been out here for about 8 months.
Oh, okay. And the second AFSOC asset to move to Cannon will be the 3rd Special Ops Squadron, which is currently stationed at Nellis Air Force Base. Yes,
the 3rd Special Operations Squadron flies the MQ-1 Predator, and they work out of Nellis Air Force Base and Creech Air Force Base out in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're moving them out here starting in June of '08. So we're actually starting to assign some of the personnel here with orders to follow after their training. So it's about a 5-month training process to become a Predator crew member, and that training's done in Las Vegas, but we're putting in place all of the communications gear and setting up the outfit for them to fly. What's interesting about the 3rd SOS is that they actually, most of their flying is done remotely. The airplanes are actually in the desert now, flying in Iraq and Afghanistan.
They're flying them remotely from here?
They will be flying them remotely from here. Currently they fly them remotely from Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada. So when we move them here, starting in June, we'll have people that will actually be flying airplanes in combat over in Iraq and Afghanistan.
It has been reported that AFSOC is going to retain support personnel that's already stationed at Cannon. Is that true?
Absolutely. Most of the base population, or much of the base population, is helps run the base, and the base itself is staying. So there is, I think, 2,500 personnel that help run this base, and those people will still be here. The base still has support. It still has medical. It still has maintenance. And many of those people that do those functions can do them regardless of what aircraft that the base flies. So those people will remain and continue on their normal Air Force type rotations.
And you said this transition will go through 2010. What do you expect the final active duty population to be?
AFSOC's growth is actually going to take probably about 6 years to get all of the planes and all of the assets that we want to come to the base. But at the end of all of our growth, we expect that the base will be about the same size as it was at its height with the F-111. So they were at about 5,500 people, I believe, at their height, and we'll come up to about 5,600.
And what kind of changes are going to have to take place here at Cannon, specifically construction-wise, to accommodate the growth?
We'll do a lot of construction. Initially, there'll be quite a bit of construction. Most of that money right now is out in the 11 time frame because of the process of going through the environmental impact statement and getting authorization to change the missions here at Nellis, at Cannon. But the big things is that the F-16 is a relatively small airplane, and most of the AFSOC planes are C-130 types, and they're big. So we have to make bigger hangars, and we have to accommodate larger squadron sizes from the F-16s. There's a lot more crew members on our airplanes.